This content is brought to you by BEC Financial Technologies, developing and operating IT for Danish banks.
The stage is yours. Please give him a big hand.
All right, let me start the timer. Cool. Thank you for coming to the talk. Let's get started. I'm going to attack complex forms today. Complex forms, they often are the most expensive part of a fairly simple feature is how to gather the input, like the design, how to make this convenient for the user, how to fit it in on the screen. Then implementation might be kind of tricky and no fun, like how not to lose user input when they switch a dropdown, the state, the validations. Then for the users, it's no fun either, because it's like a cognitive overload. Too much, being afraid what has changed, the other changes being lost or something. What are they actually saving? And then in maintenance, if you need to get some more input, then how to fit in that extra field in that already packed form. And on the other hand, the consumers of this complex form are usually not your everyday user, but the backend user. Someone's getting paid to use it. So also the UI doesn't get that much love because the users won't go away because they're getting paid to use it. So they're frustrated with it. And as back office users, they want to be efficient and work without obstacles. And I actually found that they often improvise and adapt faster than I can give them improvements on my app. So the complex UI, these forms are a constraint to them. And looking at myself, I chose text as my interface to build stuff. I use code, and most of engineers do. The graphical programming environments were tried for decades, and they never really took off. We constantly stick with text. So looking at the example form, all of this data could be described in text using this kind of small language. And the font is twice as big as that one. So it's more concise, and for me, it's more readable. Generally, text is super powerful. Like its ability to express complex ideas in a concise manner. You can mass replace it, find and replace, mass modify it, move things around with copy paste, share it with copying. Underreader has been there for years, but knows how it works. It's can easily version it, like the diffs. You can see what changes there were, see the history. In text, it's easy. It's a lot more difficult in a complex UI. It's also very versatile. You can create a language for rules, for markup, for logic, for queries, and easily expand the language, evolve, add new keywords while keeping backwards compatible. And in current times, like text is the ultimate interface with LLMs. So if you have already the data or the format in text, you can easier integrate it with an LLM, or even without the actual integration in the app. If your power user has the ability to take this language, like the ones before, they can take it out to a ChatGPT, work with it, take it back without you even doing the integration in the app itself. If it makes sense, you can do it later, and it's easier than with a complex component-based UI. So the base of it is the domain-specific language. Like, I'm not suggesting having a text box where you can write JavaScript and you just eval it in the context of the app. No, it's you want to create a focused, tailored for the task, small language that's just for this this need there. And because of it, it's already more secure because it's so constrained. All right, so what are the options to actually do it? How to embed a DSL in a web app? Like the first option seems to be place the text area and use a parser. There are several options of open source, quick and mature parsers, like there are parsers generators or parser libraries. But this has one big disadvantage. Like nobody wants to code in a notepad. Like this doesn't have any syntax highlighting, code completion, or those red squiggly line for showing inline errors. But there are code editors. Like this one there's been for a long time now. It has everything like this, highlighting and stuff. But when I tried to use it for my own small DSL, I found that it's more focused for providing support for existing languages. Like there's support for JavaScript, for HTML, Markdown, but there's a high barrier of entry to create a plugin for your own language. It seems they're not focusing on that. So I looked further, and I found this project by Eclipse Foundation. And it's a whole language workspace where you define a grammar in the language. It will generate a language server that will run in a web worker and feed Monaco. Monaco is the editor used in VS Code. So you actually have like the full VS Code experience in the browser. I actually built a small app for myself with that. It's an app for planning your camping groceries, your grocery list for a camping trip. So when we're going sailing for 4 days, I like to have everything bought so that we don't need to go to port. So for each day, I have this language where I can pick the recipes, how many people are going to eat it that day, and in the end, oh, I cannot click under that, but this is for a day. What I need to buy and how much of it. So I had some experience with, and now switching back. I know. And the cursor is on my screen. Cool. Yeah. So it's the pros. Very powerful. Monaco as it is great. A bit too much actually. I had to turn off some features, but then it uses code generation and it assumes the language server runs in a web worker. So it was really hard to have a second language. I wanted to have both the language for recipes and the language for planning, and I gave up. It was assumed that there's one language server running on one web worker, so that was kind of difficult. And I don't really like code generation. Like it's complexity to your CI/CD, and the dev experience is worsened because if you have code generation, you don't want to commit it to version control. But then if someone checks it out and opens in IDE, there are files missing. There's not really a good way in JavaScript to have a standard like how to initially generate files. So you need to documentation or a custom script. I prefer to avoid code generation whatever I can. So I thought this should be easier. And I created my own library for that with specific goals and the experience I got from using those before. So my goals were, I wanted it to be kind of React native, but not React native, React for React, and as a drop-in replacement for text area. The component, there should be a component that you just use with value and onChange, give it a grammar, and it should give highlighting, code completion, and inline errors out of the box. Something that Langium almost does. And I wanted to have just one grammar that is used for everything, for value extraction that should be simple, and also for this UI. I didn't want any code generation, so I used the parser combinator pattern. I'm going to show it in a moment, in an idea how it works. I also did a talk on that. That's in a moment. So it's a really convenient way of building parsers from smaller parsers, like building blocks of patterns, like component way of building patterns. And there's no lexers or tokenizers that I find actually confusing. Just expressions, regular expressions, and building on top of them. And of course, I wanted to be able to have multiple instances of it, multiple languages, multiple editors, so it needs to be fully isolated. And for parser combinators, I actually did a talk on WarsawJS about just parsing, where I went through different ways of creating parsers. And on the end, there's an intro into parser combinators, so you can check it out. But now I'm going to also do a demo for another text-based app I did. So this is a time tracking app. They have one format for writing down how much time I spent on each project. And now live, we're going to do the settings page. So a different language. So I'm going to do screen duplication now. Okay. This is the settings page of the app. I want, instead of having like forms and drop downs, I wanted to have a language to do some configuration settings. First setting I want to have is like being able to change the format of the time. Sometimes you want hours and fraction of hours to multiply it by your hourly rate, and sometimes you want hours and minutes because it's just easier to read. Let's do that. And first of all, here's the whole component, like the editor with value and on change and the grammar. And this is optional, selecting different default syntax coloring for black and for light and dark. But getting back to the grammar. So maybe starting from this point, I want to have time format is h.m. So here I'm defining I'm using this grammar. Right now it's an empty grammar. So first thing is terminal time format. Okay, syntax highlighting out of the box. White space, and then either H or M inline error reporting, or the other one. Cool. And code completion from the grammar. So thanks, but it still didn't pick up. We need to extract the value. So I have it. The app uses this object that is right now as a const. So I'm gonna run a parser again here for this grammar. The grammar is settings DSL. Parse the text and take the result. So I need to get this value. So I'm going to mark it as named time format. Okay. So now I can use extract first from the result time format. And if there's none, then use this one. Yep. So there is 7 hours, 20 minutes, or 7.3 hours. Cool. Now, let's add another feature to the language. Let's say now that I want to have completions for the projects I'm using in this other language. Like I want to have a predefined list of the projects that are going to be suggested here. So I have it here as empty list. Let's have it for configuration. So I'm thinking projects and WarsawJS, React DSL library, and this one, time is money. All right, so I'm gonna extract this one to another variable is time format DSL. And now I'm gonna have in any order that time format or projects DSL and projects DSL is gonna be a sequence of terminal projects. Yep, new line, and then a repeat of the sequence of an indent, right? Then pattern. Let's go with A to Z, 0 to 9, at least once, and a new line. And I need to define what an indent is. And it's gonna be a pattern of a space or a tab, at least once. All right, yeah, understood it, colored it nice. And now this part is gonna be the project name, so I'm gonna name it. Named project and use it. And so the magic of TypeScript project. Yeah, and that's an array. Okay, let's check it out. And now I have completions from the configuration for those projects. Yeah, so I really love parser combinators. Like I think it's the nicest way to define a grammar. No code generation. Everything is in the language, the host language, TypeScript itself. I love it. So DSLs, quick time to market. Just drop an editor, define the language quickly. Maybe it will stick. Maybe you'll evolve to some more, I don't know, complex UI, some more visual thing. But it's a good start. Super easy to extend. Just add a new keyword. Maybe you want to, if you do big changes, just version your language. Well, this is a text editor, so we have instant copy, paste, undo, redo, and stuff like that. And unconstrained freedom for the power users. They can copy it out, share it, save it, back it up by themselves. And then they can tell you that they really need versioning in the app, so we can do it easily. You can run tests on all the saved DSLs in your database. After you change your parser, you change your grammar, you can check if it's backwards compatible with all that you have stored from your users. Yeah. So first of all, this is the QR code for this presentation. While I'll take questions and close up, you can scan it. And takeaways. It's always good to have specific things to take away from a presentation. So my thing is, consider using a DSL, small target language, instead of your next complex form in the app. It might make sense for you. React DSL Editor is a really fresh project. I'm open to contributions. It still needs use cases, more tests, performance, and documentation. And I think it's an unsolved thing to write fault-tolerant parsers, like making sense of an incomplete input. Like I looked a lot, and it's not. There are still places where you make decisions that there's no perfect decision. So it's a lot to think about, like what can we do with invalid input. And there's proper work be done there, so I need use cases to see what assumptions I need to make. And let's talk. I'm going to stay to the end of the event, and later grab me on LinkedIn. It's on the QR code, and the link is in the first slide. And So if you want to talk parser combinators, DSLs, front-end, back-end, find me. And thanks.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Well, so do we have questions? Yes.
Thank you. Hello. I would like to know what is the adoption experience of power users? So have you tested the solution with anybody else? Like, what was the experience? Because it looks awesome. But of course, there is a very, I would say, huge learning curve to dive deep into your specific language, because like that's a custom one. So I'm just wondering, what was the experience of the test users, if you had any?
Right. So a few the threads here. First of all, the language should be really focused and small. Like maybe have several languages. I'm thinking like an example. Maybe auto documentation is another step. Creating a documentation. Interactive documentation from the grammar to help understand the options. Like code completion is not enough. So that's a valid point. Actually, I remember while doing back office stuff for someone that they kind of invented an expression language for me in the desktop app. They wanted to have more expressiveness in what they were doing, and it was actually because of all the constraints. Not a good direction, because the tooling was not there. And to be honest, most of the users are me. For now, I've did like 3 apps for myself, text-based, because I find it convenient, the best UI. I've been using this time tracking format for 20 years, I think now, actually. Firstly in just writing it down in a text file, and then at the end of the month, doing calculation myself. Then I wrote an app as a text area with a parser, and now this. Yeah, so I not have a perfect answer for you that how it works. I'm gonna try it with a project I'm working on now, because it has really complex form for travel plans and stuff like that, and users working it 8 hours a day. So I'm gonna show them the tool, and we'll see.
Thank you very much. Next question. Not anymore. Okay. Yes, we have one more.
I recall having one project during my studies where I created, it was a C++ project, maybe this is relevant to the story, but I created the specific language for the configuration, and the professor said to me that why creating new language when we have JSON and we can create a JSON config file. So I am a huge fan of creating those languages. This is, I just believe this is so much fun. But let's focus on this question from the professor. What are the main advantages of this approach over the JSON config files?
Yeah, so JSON is like a format, so you would have like completions and validation of a specific field, like that. The possible field names and this level, and the possible values and this level. I don't know if there are editors that have good support for that will guide you through writing the not valid JSON, but valid format of JSON that you're expecting, right? So this is in the direction like there's a callback function that you can give, like in the project list in the first screen, you give it any dynamic input, the dynamic suggestions in this place of the grammar. So code completion should be better in this DSL. They are also, you can go more concise and have an editor kind of smaller, and because you don't need to have curly braces, you can have anything you want. So you can go for a bit better format than just the generic adaptation of the generic one. Maybe it's like on the talk I linked, I was doing a parser for a database full, what is it called? The database, like this DB schema and identifier. It was just that. and still it's a grammar. So it might be not something big. Like if your DSL gets too big, then maybe you went too far.
Thank you. We have time for one more question. Anyone? Yeah, they're from back.
Hi. What would you say something you did in your daily life that, or probably that you can do 3 times a week that you would say, man, this would really get better. I would really solve this problem better creating a DSL.
I got the end. I didn't get the beginning.
Okay, let's go from the beginning. Imagine something in your life that you do at least 3 times a week or something. A form that you probably fill 3 times a week or something. Or a problem that you solve 3 times a week. Okay. Would you think one of those? I mean, yeah. Do you have something in which you would say that
A DSL would solve make my life better.
It would be good to apply a DSL, to create a DSL to solve that problem.
Yeah, for myself, I did it twice here. The grocery list shopping app and the time tracking app.
Okay,
the time tracking app is for me. I think it's. I thought about a time tracking app for myself, and I thought that text is the best because I kept on forgetting to start. Then I'm working on a Switch project, and I'm working on this project. And with text, I can just go back and edit it. Okay, it was that hour, 15 minutes ago. Or I forgot to put in a whole day, so let's see it, get log and put something in. It's the same way, so it solved my problem twice. So I thought I'd share.
Great.
Thank you very much. Krzysztof, I saw you on the stage also, not the first time, yeah. It's always great to have you here.
Thanks.
So thank you very much also for this talk. Thank you for your questions. One more question to you.
Yep.
What was the best question? Who is winning the JetBrains license?
Who of the questionees want to have a little JetBrains license? You want a JetBrains license? You want a JetBrains? Oh, where's the third guy? You want a JetBrains license? Yeah, let's go with him. This was a very good question, but he's more eager to have the license. Is that okay?
Okay, nice.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Okay, so the person who won, so yeah, just come to me after this.
And I already got a license from WarsawJS, so I'm not asking questions. So yeah, I'm already filled. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Big applause to Krzysztof.
Warsaw.